Samir Search for Uhuru. Everyone, I want to apologize. Sorry about starting so late. Basically, what happened in the West End of Atlanta, trees just decided to fall down and knock out power lines. So we literally got power back just about 8 minutes ago. So I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and rise up. But with that being said, we're gonna jump right into it. Tonight's topic is, they had this revolt debate. Kyla, we're gonna get into it, Kyla. I just don't understand why we continue to have. I mean, now having conversations and meeting and having debates and meeting of the minds are important, but the thing is, it seems like we're trying to reinvent the wheel at some of these events.
Of
Like
course.
we're trying to act like or pretend like we're gonna say something new and profound. But with that being said, Jay Morrison
Mm-hmm.
asked a question or
Right.
made a statement, and it's like he hinted to it, but he didn't want to fully go into it
Right. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
regards to nationality.
Right.
It's
And
like
that's where
he
he's being attacked right now by the likes of Tariq Nasheeds and Antonio Moore. And all. See, you gotta understand something. Like I said this a while ago when this whole ADOS jumped off. Right. This is a distraction. This is right now because of what you're doing, what the organization BAO, your brother Bomani, our brother Bomani, that was on today, and people that are going to South Africa, going to Africa, and building bridges. Even the brothers that's traveling to places like Brazil and just exploring the world. The whole thing is this: there's nothing left in black politics in America. You had listen to this very carefully. Black people had 8 years of a so-called black president, right?
right.
That disappointment, right? We have to a lot for that. How can you tell black people our time has come? Martin Luther King died so Barack Obama would be president, right?
Right.
America's fine. Then 8 years. To be honest with you, Dinus, I have never the race relations in this country and conditions for black people got 10 times worse under Obama. That's me. And I know it was
No, no, but I mean, but this is the thing, though. This is the whole Obama issue. I remember, okay, after the first, you know, his first term,
right.
folks gave him a pass. Then, of course, it's
Right.
he's gonna rise up the
Oh,
second
that's
term.
what
He's
that's what
gonna
I'm talking about.
rise up. And then you had the folks, like I would say, about 2 years into his second term, when they kind of realized that he wasn't about to rise up. Then it came the deflection. Well, he's not just the black folks president; he's
Right, and
everybody's
also
president.
you gotta understand that he gotta look at his legacy. And Hillary, we gotta keep the Republicans. It became the rally cry is we got to keep the Republicans from getting the White House. See,
Right.
this is how they got black people thinking. You don't have any agenda, and like I said this years ago, how can you have an agenda when you don't even like Jay Morris hit it? You don't even know who you are. You know, he said that when he said that, I said, wow. He said, you got to decide who you are, what's your identity. Before you step to the world, talk about reparations, you can't talk about reparations and you wearing an American flag, talking, I'm an American just like you are, but I want reparations. No, it don't work like that. Now, if you want to declare yourself sovereign and you want independence, you want to be recognized by world bodies of government as a minority, like we were prior to 1964, we were just a minority group in here. The UN started poking into Black America's business. What's going on with this minority group? America goes all around the world discrediting governments because the way they treat their minority citizens. And the world, the Soviet Union, and all these people are saying, well, what about the black people? Then they came up with civil rights. We're going to integrate black people in America. We're going to show movies and put out American culture that racism is gone and black people are part of the mainstream of America. That's been this 55-year farce that we've been doing. Now, some black people are comfortable in America. If you can live with the fact that when you can see a police shooting and they're going to get away with it, okay, hey, look, you just say, okay, you don't care. If you're a black man who don't really care about the next person, you're just trying to get your money and live your life and everything, that type of black man is fine. But okay, that's fine, right? But you have no business getting in front of the masses of black people and tell black people that you owe America or the Democratic Party or the Republican Party anything. Black people, like John Howard Clark said, black people don't know anybody anything but a good ass whooping, you know? And that's what's happening. Why is it that the people who have the least to gain out of the political process is up there talking about what are we gonna vote for? I thought we were talking about black issues. Why did this whole debate center around the election? Because that's the only time black people are relevant. Every 4 years, we've been going through this merry-go-round. Every 4 years, when an election comes around, we got black people trotting out like they're saying something brand new. Nothing ever gets done, right? Nothing ever gets accomplished. Nothing tangible ever happens and everything. But 4 years later, they'll be back to the same thing. Well, we got to do this. We got to do this. Now, like I was telling you the other day, the whole thing is this so-called the F Trump movement. I say, well, what's the F Trump movement, Colin? It means basically you don't have anything to, you don't know anything about the political system. You don't have anything to gain. You don't care about unemployment rate. You don't want to gauge the president or see what he does. You don't want to look at the other candidate. It's just F Trump. Okay, F Trump. Now what? No, just F Trump. You know, that's all you have to do is say F Trump. Okay, well, where's our vote going to go? Well, anybody but Trump. So that's it. That's it. So that out of all the problems that Black America facing is, we just have to get out there and vote against Donald Trump. That's all. We don't have to ask for anything. We don't have to demand anything from these other people. It's just F Trump. Then they come up with a thing saying, with this phony thing, talk about we want reparations. Well, are you asking Donald Trump for reparations, or are you putting all your reparations demands on the Democratic candidates, right? Because who does that ultimately benefit? It benefits Donald Trump, right? So, right, like I said, why does reparations movement come now? Why? Because there's no other platform, legitimate platform that black people can actually do. Why? Because we spent 8 years under Obama not putting anything together.
Yeah. He's everybody's president.
Yeah, he's everybody's president.
He ain't the president. He ain't the president. And black people would attack you. He's not the president of black folks. Everybody.
To this day.
And here we go, Colin. Wait till we do the last day of office. Wait till we do the last day of office.
I was at wait till his last week in office, wherever like that. Wait till his last week. Wait till his second term. And people said, well, now you're gonna see something. He got reelected. And when his second term, that's when Trayvon Martin happened. You know.
Right. And when the church, your boy
Dylan Roof,
yeah,
all that happened on his second term. All hell was breaking. We was like
Tamir Rice, another Mike.
All this hell broke up on his second term, and then when his second inauguration, right, he gets up there. He got a second term. Very few presidents. Only a handful of presidents ever had 2 consecutive terms, right? He gets up there after this thing and says, the most impressive issue, human rights issue of our time, is the equality for the LGBTQ.
Right.
Not police brutality, not guns and gangs and poverty and all this crime that's ripping inner cities apart. The most precious issue is a man's right to marry another man. That's what's important to Barack Hussein Obama. A man's right to marry another man. Man's right, like you say, JFK set the stage for a man on the moon. Barack Obama set the stage for a man in a woman's bathroom. And so therefore that's what. And so therefore you got people now. You look at black culture right now. The most important thing in Black America right now is your opinion on the transgenders being black girls rock. All this kind of nonsense that's going on and everything. Look, like I said, people don't want to listen when I say this, right? Nobody takes you seriously. You're 45 with 45 million people. Could be strong, but we're so friggin' politically weak. We're socially weak, we're culturally weak. The fact of the matter is, and I'm gonna get to this Revolt thing. Now, I can't tell Diddy who he wants to put on, right? I guess the rationale is this, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that he's trying to appeal to a younger crowd. I don't think Killer Mark
it didn't work. Yeah, he started that with the vote or die. Vote or die,
and all stuff like that. This whole idea that there's this urban hip hop vote that includes white people, gays, younger white people listen to hip hop, Hispanics, blacks, anybody but white straight males and whatnot. They're gonna be the new voting bloc. And what happens? when it really comes down to it, those white people are not going to think about, well, when it comes down to your vote, right? Every white man is going to see himself, it's like survival. What do I see? Who do I see representing me? And it's going to be Donald Trump, you
Right.
know? And then they're gonna look out for themselves. Or yeah, they may have all hip hop, and they may have Killer Mike on his stereo, right? But he's gonna vote white. We're the
Right.
only people in the world, black people in the world, who really believe that our salvation relies in white people one day forgetting that they're white and just treating us equal and loving us equal. I mean, it's the truth though, and the whole that's the whole thing, whose slave master is better. You got Candace always talk about Trump, and you got Ti them talk about the Democrats and everything. And Killer Mike did a good segue. He said, "I'm sick of now." Even though he was capping for Bernie Sanders all the time, now he's all with this whole thing talking about well, why is are you guys capping for two people that's a slave master? And I'm saying, well, wasn't he with Bernie Sanders a while ago,
Yeah.
running with him? He was running with Bernie Sanders and everything. And so, the question remains. But like I said, and then when Ti looked like he shocked me when he was like basically saying, because you could tell they listen to these shows, and Jay Morris, I guess him and Jay Morris talked and whatnot. Now I don't agree with a lot of stuff Ti does, but when a broken clock is right twice a day, right? And he was like, "Yo, when you talk about reparations, somebody brought the call about reparations. Like when you talk reparations, you're talking about a nationality. You're talking about you're a sovereign people. You're basically withdrawn from the United States altogether. You want to start something new
Akala, again, why do they continue to dance around nationhood?
because the bottom line is they want to distract. They think this is going to go away. They think this is going to go away. If the problems that you say Black America is facing, we're politically disenfranchised. The youth have no hope. They have no direction. They have all the wrong images, the wrong leaders. They're falling down the wrong path and everything. America's failing them. We feel alienated, isolated. All those things that traditionally lead to nationalist movements and everything. They're trying to defy history. You look at any point in history where a group of people were in the same situation, it always spawns nationalism. And the nationalist movement among Black people is the most feared thing. And you heard what J. Hoover said, right? He said he didn't care about drug dealers and everything in Black America. But he said, but if you are a Black nationalist or project Black nationalist, or if you're a Black man who talks about geopolitics outside the confines of America, you will be a dead nigger. You know, that's what it is. America has a problem. It has 45 million people inside its borders that basically who is quasi semi assimilated. Now the whole idea is to get the entertainment. They control us through the entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Beyonce not getting any ESPY awards, whatever? I think it was.
Who cares? I mean,
Yeah, no,
I'm
but the thing
sorry,
is,
but
but the thing is, but check this out. But they said the Beehive is mad. They're mad. The Beehive's going to strike back and whatnot. And the whole thing is this: they use these people, right? These people as things like if you want to control Black people, right? You control them with entertainment. They learned that a long time ago, right? They learned that in the 60s. You want to stop Malcolm X, right? What do? You know what I'm saying? You sort of marginalize them with your own entertainers, right? Remember, there was a famous thing, debate on the Dick Cavett show. I don't know if you've seen it, with the guy from Sly and the Family Stone and him and Muhammad Ali. It was done purposely, you know, and they got into it right there on the thing. Now Sly ended up dying of a heroin hugged up with white women and whatnot. And he was telling Muhammad Ali, "Well, I don't feel like that. You're talking to those blacks." So he said, Muhammad said, "Don't act like a dumb Negro on national television in front of white folks. Well, we don't all think like that, Muhammad." Blah 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 blah. The whole idea, they've been fighting this culture. White man can't come at us directly, right? He can't come at. You will never see any white man come on one of these panels and try to debate us or college. They'll get crushed. What they do is they send their minions in, right? They'll send them in from the right side, the right wing, and they'll send them in from the left wing. The whole idea is to distract Black people into this idea that there's a gradual process that you're going to be one day assimilated into America. There's a gradual process that racism and white supremacy and all stuff like that you playing about is going to go away. And it doesn't go away because, like I said, the Black people's spirits are broken. Most Black people are convinced that they're inferior. They're convinced that white people are always going to win. The white people are always going to have their foot on their necks. White people are always going to be racist and all stuff like that.
Here we go. Here we go. Here comes the stalling tactics. Well, Africa, they don't have the Chinese in Africa.
Yeah, yeah. Any sort of stalling tactic to basically say, okay, well, and people always say, well, what are you gonna do? I said, look, right now, what we pass on to the next generation is what's important. That's what our generation is supposed to be. How are we gonna play? It's only gonna happen by us. If we don't talk about this stuff now and plan now, the future generations won't have a chance. Are you gonna tell me when looking at the metrics in America and everything's going on with the regentrification of black? There's no more black communities in America. The amount of crime, the violence in Black America is out of control. You know, and you got communities that you saw today in Long Island, the other day in Long Island. Nice
is that where the boy got stabbed?
Yeah, boy got stabbed. A 16-year-old kid, good looking kid, should have been enjoying his life, but that don't bother you. No, that doesn't bother you. I put constantly. I'm putting on a thing on Facebook where I see black kids getting killed every day, 15, 13, 14, getting gunned down the streets. There's so many guns in the streets. There's so much confusion. There's so much hate. And there's so much anger.
Real quick, guys, make sure you hit that like button. We have almost 200 people watching. Please hit the like button again. Please hit the like button, or Kyle's going to sing the song. But also, too, out here in Atlanta area in Rockdale County, which is like 35 minutes east from where I'm at. 3 black teens tried to break into somebody's house.
And he killed them.
Yeah,
he killed them. And what's going on in those teens' head? Where are the adults? And like I said, I mean, and I thought about something, right? It's almost like the adults, right? You got the adults are so beaten down. They're working 3 jobs, right? It's hard, By the time your boy or there's no father figure, even when the father figure's there, he's got issues. He got an ex-wife that's hounding him. He doesn't have time to take with his son and everything. Our traditional families structure is broken. We have a dysfunctional black family structure and everything. And the fallout from this is we got these young boys out here that are wreaking havoc on not just us. It's one thing, what we always accepted that they could tear our community. Now these kids are spilling over into the white community. And let me tell you something. You know why you're going to see more police killings? Because white America is telling the police, right? No circumstances, do what you have to do to keep us safe and keep them Negroes in line. You've seen that happen in Minneapolis. A bunch of Somali youth, beat a guy just randomly, beating people thing. In Washington, D.C., a bunch of teenagers beat a man and threw him on the train track, the metro train track. This is happening all over America. There's madness going on, not just black kids, white kids, everything. Everything is spiraling out of control. We have a culture where there's no right and there's no wrong. There's no direction. Everybody just basically ginned up by what they see on social media. They go out there and they do whatever they want to do. So this is what you have. This is what you're planning for the next 100 years for your people. No, it's not going to work. Now, when we come up with a thing saying that we want the very soul of Black America, it's time for us to have a nation around. Time for us to start out new. It's time for us to build.
Real quick, I want to. Somebody just made a great point. So I guess, and see, this is the thing. So Yvette, Tone, Tariq all went after Jay Morrison.
Yeah, Jay Morrison. They don't like Jay Morrison.
But Jay Morrison now is walking back his.
Well, he didn't. No. This is what I saw what he said. Right, he's not walking back what he said. He just clarified it a little better. People took what he said. Oh, Jay Morrison. That's another thing about social media. People take one thing what you say, and they'll say, "Oh, Jay Morrison against reparations." See, reparations is a big elephant in the room. That it's a scapegoat. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna kill that whole thing. Eventually. Reparations is bullshit. Yvette Carnell is bullshit. Tone Talks is bullshit, and so is Tariq. They know that you do not have the political, social, economic power or the organization to talk about reparations. Reparations is a Negro stalling tactic just to say something to be talking about, oh, reparations, what's reparations? You are not going to get reparations unless you have a government of your own, and unless the United States is somehow defeated in war, right? Like Germany was, right? So what about the Japanese? Let me tell you about the Japanese. If you don't study history, study anywhere in history. Japanese got reparations because the Japanese government did that, under the Reagan administration. The United States was in the height of the Cold War, right? The reparations of paying Japanese back was on the table with several administrations before Reagan got to it, right? And it was an impasse. They said, okay, well, the United States was about to say we're gonna pull out your bases in Okinawa. No, we still got this problem with Russia in the Far East. We still got this China and everything. And Japan's like, well, and then now that the United States wanted Japan to lower its yen, and reduce imports into America. That was the era of Indaga, of the Japanese trade war with the United States. And the Trilateral Commission met to say, how do we bust the Japanese trade surplus? Well, one of the reasons why Japan had to reduce some of its exports to America in cars, electronics, and everything, and import American goods and everything. And there was some Cold War negotiations as far as like the U.S. base and everything. All that was high level diplomacy, right? One of the riders, if you don't understand how laws and legislations pass, there's things called riders. You know what a rider is? It's like you have some stuff and then there's like a little sticker. Let's say the sticker has all the stuff written on it, right? And you stick it on the bill. You can have a rider on something that has nothing to do with the bill in the first place. You stick a rider on there. And then, then if the president, whoever doesn't do a line item veto, the whole thing goes through and it's in law. Now, it wasn't part of the original legislation. It was a rider. The Japanese reparations was a rider in many different high-level diplomatic things. Say, okay, we'll take care of that. The Japanese reparations, whatever like that. That was not the main thing. That was just one thing of many things of negotiations. You can only do that when you have a government and you have power. But tell me what leverage the black people have to force. Reparations only going to happen to America by force. Now, if you talk about reparations, right, how is it going to go through Congress, right? How's it going to go through Congress? You pass a reparations bill, right? You got to go through the House Ways and Means Committee, right? The Ways and Means Committee, right? Then it got to go to subcommittee, right? Then it goes to the floor for a general vote and everything. Then afterwards, it goes to the Senate. It goes to the Senate Budgetary Committee and the House Budgetary Committee, Senate Finance Committee, all those things. And then they have to have both bills have to be merged together, what they call cloture, and both bills have to be exactly the same, right? You have to have to vote on it. You have to have 60%, 60 senators voting on a filibuster to make sure it goes through, right? You have to have a majority in the House and 2/3 of the Senate to vote on it to break a filibuster, right? Now, if you don't have 2/3 of the Senate voting on it, even showing up and everything, it doesn't get passed. And then after you do get all that, it got to go to the president's desk. So tell me on any monumental scale, these jokers, these clowns, these buffoons who talk about reparations, leave that. If you're going to talk about politics in America, in the American system, leave that alone. Now, if you want to talk about reparations and everything, then you should be a nationalist. The reparations will work well with a nationalist movement. Why? Because you can get about 10 or 15 African governments who will say, you know something? We support the reparations of African Americans if you settle them over here. We'll give them land, we'll help them build infrastructure, and we'll integrate them into African society and everything. We'll build all the stuff that they need infrastructure. That will work. But if you think you're going to give reparations to black people, right, in America, right? Let's say everybody get $100,000 check, wherever it's at. That'll be the biggest stimulus package for America. It'll go right back into the American economy. Black America is a $1.5 trillion generating thing in America. One of the miracles of everything that came out of slavery is the amount of money African Americans generate. And our money is not tied up in investments. So when other people have wealth, they got wealth tied up in stocks, bonds, businesses. They got liquidity. They got net losses and everything. Black people are just pretty much a working class people. So the fact that if most of us are working class people and we could generate $1.2 trillion, imagine if we start listening to brothers like Michelle and the other brother you had on and start becoming an investment people. Start being a passive income people. Let's say we start investing all our money overseas and stuff like that. The Mexicans take out $60 billion a year out of the U.S. economy and put it into Mexico. They go into Mexican banks. They build Mexican infrastructure, institutions in Mexico. That's why they come here. They come here so they can get money and send money to Western Union and send it back to their country. That's what they do. Tell me if you talk about reparations, where are you going to send this money to? Right back into the American society? And you telling me you're serious and everything? You jokers need to get off the stage, and you people listen to these jokers need to get off the stage. You know, I mean, we got, like I said, we have too many fucking clowns out here talking like they're talking for black people. Oh, I got the data. I got the info. What's the Dinus? I got the data.
I got the okay. Hold on.
You gotta do it, Dinus.
It's gonna come later. It's gonna come later, guys. Hit that like button. We have 200 people watching. Please hit that like button. All right, go ahead.
I got the data. I got the info. I did the study. You know, I did the study. You know something? You know, one thing I was reading about you talk about Plato and Aristotle. I mean, it's Plato and Socrates and everything. Socrates was like, you know something? I look at history and whatnot, right? If it was on call, man, you listen to the Greek cracker. Blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm more like Socrates. You know what I'm saying? I look at history. I look at things the way they are, and I study Socrates, right? And I'm more like Socrates, right? That's the way I am. I got no faith in people doing the right thing. I do believe people could do the right thing, but they got to be trained to do the right thing. And basically, you can have all the learning you want, but learning alone is not enough, right? Having access to books is not enough. That doesn't give you wisdom. Wisdom comes with age and experience, right? And always wanting to do the right thing at all times. That's where wisdom comes from, right? You got people out there that are so-called talking for black people that have absolutely no wisdom. The idea that you're going to friggin' tell black people to go out there and fight for reparations in the middle of a campaign season is not wise. That's not wisdom. You don't care about them, you know? All you want to do is make trouble and sound big and all this kind of nonsense. The only people you're hurting is the Democrats. That's all. That is the ultimate goal. To hurt the Democrats and whatnot and help Trump get reelected. That's all that is. Now, if you like Trump, just go ahead and come out and say it. Say, look, I like Trump. MAGA. What's it down? Dan? MAGA. MAGA. Just come on and say it. ADOS is MAGA. Okay. We got a new thing now, folks. ADOS is MAGA. And I get the impression every time I see people say ADOS, oh, yeah. I heard an ADOS guy on one, I forgot, I guess I'll make the screenshots, said ADOS means that black people in America are a combination of European and African and such a new race. I'm like, who? This is what it's morphed into. Africans are now, and African Americans are a different race now. You know, our experience in America and so-called mixture of whites makes ADOS a different race who are now considered indigenous to America. I knew this was what this was all about. It has absolutely not. And then they say, well, we want reparations. We don't want Africans are not trying to get your little non-existent, never going to happen reparations check. You know, the Caribbeans. I never heard a Caribbean say, I gotta get my pass for ADOS because I want to get my reparations check. You know, nobody's after your non-existent, fake, never going to happen reparations check. You know, I want to, when the reparations got start getting passed out, I only want the slave descendants of America. All this kind of stupid stuff that only gets traction because it's on the internet. And you got fools up there who basically get on social media, spill all this nonsense out, and people take this stuff seriously. You got people actually sitting around waiting for the reparations check to come out. I mean, Yvette Carmel must impress somebody. You must be, if you're that freaking stupid and uneducated, to realize this lady has no credentials, no ability, no connection, no anything, and the whole idea of so-called reparations is so far off the mainstream or the radar and everything. And then has another, the biggest thing. Reparations is only meant to divide black people. Look what it's doing to how they attacking Jay Morris.
No. But I'm gonna say this: there is a debt owed.
Oh yeah, let me clear this up. Right, we know there's a debt owed, but we decided 100-something years ago to do what? To be in America. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay, you're right. You're right.
We decide when you decide. It's like if you want to get a divorce from somebody, right? What do you get? Alimony, right? You get severance, you get severance. If you look in the Bible, you ever read the story about the prodigal son?
Yeah.
The one son said, Dad, I want my inheritance. I want to go off and go on my own. Black people have never done that. The prodigal son. Then the son said, I stayed with you all these years. And then once father comes back, he comes back after he spent everything. Dad, I'm back. And the other son said, well, why do you give this? Say he left you. I was here. He goes, yeah, but I always knew you were gonna be with me. But your one brother who was lost is now found. Now I'm back. You know, if we could have had the chance with Liberia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had the chance. That's why I'm saying I'm not playing games with black people no more. I studied Liberia when it was a concerted effort to discredit Liberia as a possibility. Race traders like Charles Spurgeon Johnson, Thurgood Marshall, all these people had a thing. They didn't care about no integration with America, right? They cared about integration for themselves, and they believed in race. When you say integration in America with these blue vein black people, what they're talking about is white and black mixing together to form a new race. I didn't see, you may say, well, I didn't know that's part of the plan. Yes, they want the black race eventually to disappear, us true black people to disappear and create this new amalgamated race, like the Hispanics are doing in Mexico and New Mexico and stuff like that. You got light-skinned Hispanics and whatnot who assimilate and everything, and they don't want these riffraff coming across the border. That's what it's all about, when we let's get out to it. Integration ultimately means intermarriage, right? Intermarriage. And you say, well, how are you going to stay in America without integrating, without intermarrying? Well, we just build our own community. That's not part of the plan. They're not going to let you have successful black communities, not show you documentation where places like St. Augustine, Florida, once in the turn of the century of the 20th century, once a thriving black community, right? They systematically built roads, infrastructure, everything. Now St. Augustine, Florida is one of the most dangerous parts of the country. Same thing with Jacksonville. All those are black areas that got completely neglected. There's no white people control everything. They have don't have the basic infrastructure, don't have anything. They completely economically starve these areas out, and isolate them and everything because they have control over where the railroads get, where the post offices are built, anything, where the gas lines are going, anything that can create wealth and power for black people. Unlike Alaska, where if you discover oil in these areas, well, it's not yours anymore, or offshore, whatever like that. We have absolutely nothing. Show me our oil wells.
Let's hear Kyla real quick. Let me read this super chat from Akatunde Boughton. Jay Morrison's comment was wrong. It was inaccurate statement in terms of nationality. What's your thoughts on that?
First of all, what do you mean? What do you mean national? Ask him, is he saying that he's an American? Is this argument that black people are American? If your argument that you're an American and that means your allegiance is with that's the problem in America. We black people all day on Facebook. America did this. America ain't shit. Blah blah blah. Okay, where's your allegiance to? I don't have no allegiance. So if you declare yourself an allegiance, what you have is a group of people, and the white man he'll pull your bluff. Okay, give up your passport and leave the country and whatnot. Go. No, I ain't going nowhere. My ancestors' bones here. No. The newest thing is, I'm not leaving America. You're leaving America. We were here first. All this crazy stuff. There was a guy on friggin' Joe Rogan show called Hotep Jesus. I don't know.
Yeah. He's a Mo.
He's a Moor.
Olmec.
Check this out. I would like everybody to check out my brother Chief X on YouTube and Facebook and everything. Xavier Sheldon. He is breaking these Moors down. I'm helping him, right? I gave him a lot of material to use and everything. We're breaking this stuff down. When you listen to his last video, who the Tuaregs were in North Africa and West Africa and Central in the Sahara, he breaks it down. This whole myth about black people being Moors and all this kind of nonsense and everything, and he breaks it down and everything like that. I said, I'm glad other people do it because for years I want to do this, but I didn't want to concentrate on this. Black people are trying to now deny that they were even brought here as slaves, just so they could stay in America and complain about America.
They've listen, Kyla. This is how history is being rewritten now.
Yeah,
we was in Kemet.
Skipped over West Africa.
Listen, completely skipped over West Africa, and now we was the Olmecs. We was the
Olmecs. Yeah, Olmecs.
Yeah.
Anything but the fact that your ancestors were on slave ships, and the bottom line, you're still suffering from a history of the Atlantic slave trade, which you never took a revenge for, you never got reparations for, and you never tried to part ways with the same government. When you say, why part ways with America? The white man's everywhere. The white man's Thanos all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Whether if you go to Mars, say, well, what if they found that we could live on
Here we go.
Mars?
Here we go. Why go to Africa? Well, the white man's everywhere. He has a drone base in Niger.
Yeah, he has a drone base, so he's spying on you as you look,
You
man.
can see the drones all over Africa in 13.5 seconds. Drones in Niger.
He's spying. He's using Google Earth to spy on you and whatnot.
Yeah. We know what a drone base is in Niger.
Yeah.
So you can't go nowhere in Africa because the United States of America has a drone base in Niger.
Drone base and whatnot.
Yeah.
Those drones. Like we tell them, well, say, you can shoot those drones out of the sky. No, you can't. They be so high up and whatnot. They be invincible, man. You can't do nothing about that.
Yeah.
So like I said, that's why I said I have a PhD in what, Dinus?
Negroology.
Negroology. You know what I'm saying? All this is just Negroology. The Negro will lie, cheat, deny, deflect, circumvent anything to be doing just what he's doing right now, bullshitting, while other people are.
Hey, hold on, caller. Somebody says Dinus sitting up there looking like an Olmec statue, bro. You have lost all credibility. ADO.
Oh, please.
Oh no.
Yeah. So the bottom line is this: Jay Morris is 100% right. He knows for a fact that the matter is that you gotta understand something. There's some black people who don't want to be free. Yeah, that's the thing. Black people have basically we have a culture that want to be in bondage, that want to be beaten down and everything. That's the only thing we know.
Right.
If you can't, you got people out there, and I see them. They got nice houses and everything, but we're so oppressed. Why are you walking around oppressed? The bottom line, you got to define your own reality, right? So, are you oppressed? No, I'm not oppressed. You're a caller. You're not oppressed. No, in order for you to oppress me, you got to come and physically take me out. You know what I'm saying? Your oppression is up here in the mind. Do I have everything I want to have? Am I liberated? Do I have a nature of my? No, of course not. But I don't got oppression. Oppression is in the mind. Oppression, when you're oppressed, you're defeated in your mind. As long as they don't have our mind and our soul, that's the one thing a white man could never break in us in America. At least the black people that I identify with, right? They can never break us. They can never break us and everything. They try everything they can, all their tricks. The last trick was, we're gonna bring African immigrants over here and showcase them about how good, if they were good, how good Negroes could be and everything. And that didn't turn out so well, did it? They try to bring out, look, he's African, but they're doing, look. And that's all a slight on black. And then when you look at the facts, the raw facts, Black America is actually, despite all the racism and everything, you got black people still succeeding. Look at Robert Johnson. No one knew who he was 3 years ago.
You mean Robert? You mean Robert Smith?
Robert Smith, not that Bob Johnson clown. But he does good too. But it was about, look at Robert Smith. No one knew who he was 3 years ago. They said there's 2.5 million black men in the upper 1%. That means 2.5 million black men making close to $1 million a year in America. There's a large numbers of black men who are going back into the skills trades, getting an education and everything like that. So there's a large numbers of black, but the problem is there's a disconnect. Our community's broken. You got black men succeeding, but are they marrying into the black community? Are we building black families? That's the challenge right there. Are we investing in our own community? Are we investing in our own business? Are we putting our money in the black banks? Are we patronizing black businesses? Are we investing in overseas in Africa? And like I said, what Dinah Samir is doing with his tours and stuff like that is very vital. Why? Because you have to create your own reality, right? Jay Morris is creating new reality. You know what I'm saying? If you don't think you could create your own reality, you ain't a man. You ain't worth anything on this earth. If you're just gonna surrender to the white man and just look down, oh, we're just so beaten down the president, get the hell out the way. The bottom line is, oh, am I going? So the bottom line is, yes. What Jay Morris is basically saying is people are using reparations. Of course, we know reparations owed, right? We all know that, right? But you guys can't stop, right, what you're doing, right, and think you're going to sit there and talk about reparations. If the people that's telling you that, the people that's telling you that you have a chance of getting a reparations bill through Congress is lying to you. It's never gonna happen. And then they use that, right, as a pretense to attack people who try to talk some sense into them. Oh man, you a traitor, you a sellout. When all these cheap, silly, adolescent ad hominem attacks. Oh man, then when you say, well, okay, what about nation building? What about land in Africa, building in Africa and everything? What about no, we can't do that. We were born here. Well, if African governments say they're willing to give you land and whatnot, and they're willing to put part of their budgets up to build infrastructure and everything, like, you don't want to take that? Why? Because you're not serious about doing anything. All you're serious about is getting on white zaddy's lap, and being up there, being complaining, while other people are serious about getting what they want. I got to hand it to the Mexicans, right?
Real quick, let me read this super chat real quick. Who travel guy? It's nothing wrong with foundational Black Americans pursuing reparations. Who said it was wrong?
There's nothing wrong. No one said that, but they want that to be the main event. Everybody's supposed to stop what they're doing, and focus on so-called reparations, which is never gonna happen. If you want to do that, that's fine. The problem is Tone, Talks, and Yvette, because they're losers, right? They keep showing up. The fact that they're angry that they weren't invited onto the Revolt thing, right? And say what you want. Killer Mike is doing things and making people money, and T.I. donate a lot of money, and they got an influence, they got a following, and you got to respect that, Candace Owens, that Turning Point USA. I remember she said, I'll write you a check for $200,000. I'm like, yo, Candace Owens is a boss. Yo, think about that. She goes, I got $200,000. I'm like, whoa, they got money like that? She's a boss. I'm like, damn. So therefore, when you look at them and compare it to Yvette and Tone Talks or whatever, and Tariq, they don't even measure up. So that's the road you plan on going down and everything. You're going up to people. You wonder why you're not invited on these panels and these serious discussions, because these people got followings. T.I. may not be as articulate or whatever like that, but the guy has a worldwide following. He's worth $50-60 million.
Hey, real quick, Mufasa says, shout out to Mufasa Shabazz. He says, ADOS always use reparations to cover for the fact that there's no end game here in America.
Right, and that's exactly what it is. That's exactly between ADOS and these people claiming that they were already here. I had a sister, right? And I love my sisters, my Black African sisters, my dark sisters. The sister looked like she could be, that girl that played. There was the one chick that played in that plays in The Walking Dead. The dark sister. She was in
Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Now the sister looks like her. She told me.
I know.
No lie. She said she's American. And I carefully explained to her, I was here before slavery, I said, sister, there was no way in hell that you were here for America, right? I told her, I said, look, Africans are not indigenous to the Northern Hemisphere, I just genetically, mathematically, we're indigenous to the warmer climate, the South Hemisphere near the equator. That's just not good. We're in North America, this is a cold hemisphere, we're not here indigenous. I was here thousands of years. I said so. I mean, I found evidence. Well, you found evidence on YouTube. That's, and your bottom line is when you make a YouTube video and people like, if it makes people feel good, people like it. It's like drugs. If something makes you feel good, you just use it. It's like a drug. And then when you tell them this stuff is bullshit, these guys attack you. Why? Because you just took their high away from them. You mean tell me I'm not an Olmec Indian? I didn't come from Turtle Island, and I also no.
Whoa, hold on, Kala. He, Giants, Chief, L,
Chickball, Chicken Saw,
Bay, Chicken Saw, feather in my starter cap. L, I am from the Choctaw, Chickasaw, Hennessy colored, copper colored Moors from the Olmecs. See, if you look at my profile and you look at the Olmec statue, see the curvature of my forehead and my nose matches the Olmec statue. And we are from Turtle Island. We come from Turtle Island. Me, Dinas Bay, with
Dinas
the
Bay, Chicksaw. Oh, you forgot Geronimo.
Geronimo
Bay, Geronimo.
Yes, Geronimo.
Remember that one video? With dude was like, yo, I'm here for Andre Holt. You know what I'm saying? The case. I'll say, yo, the Murphy matter, the Murphy matter. I'll say, I'm not Andre Murphy. I'll say,
we gotta play. Keep. I'm gonna find this.
yeah, I'll say, yeah, I'll say, I'll say, Dre. He called him Dre. Then he called him Geronimo. That shit was so funny. Yo, but these our brothers are lost, man. These brothers are lost, man. These are freaking lost brothers. And then people, like I said, man, when you don't have an end game, this is what you fall into. If your end game ain't land infrastructure, nationhood, and an Afghanistan, a nation state of your own, and then I'm gonna talk about the benefits of an Afghanistan, a nation state, and building and having a nationality that you could identify with. How that would strengthen Black people, Black African Americans, ADOS people all over the world. Because the bottom, I'm gonna show you that Africans, you see how South Africa is going on an apology tour around Africa about the xenophobic attacks. Did America ever go on an apology tour around the world about the treatment of Black people in America? Dianes, that you know of?
No.
No one gives a damn. You're a domestic issue. You are not. You don't have any sovereignty. America owns you. America, they could kill us anytime they want to. They got the legal right to, and they thought about it too. Lincoln thought about that too. Kill this wholesaling, massacring all Black people. The Devil's Punch Bowl in Mississippi. Look that up. They thought about massacring Black people. What are you going to do with these people? Kill them. They said, no, that would be a blight on our civilization. So we just let them die. They left us to the Klan and all the stuff like that. They didn't know what to do with us. They still needed our labor in many ways. But the social order and having any rights and dignity, our passions, dreams, and everything, the whole idea of being a free people with a land of your own and whatnot was denied to us. So this is the end result in 2019 of all this not having a nation and just being an underclass in a white country and everything like that. But we gotta wait to 2040 where the minorities mean the majority. Oh, we gotta wait for that. And Roland Martin will get an extra pork chop on his plate and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, play it. Come on, Geronimo.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I used to be able to pull it up easy.
Yeah, so like I said, Jay Morris is right on the track. The bottom line, the problem is this: when you start talking about business, when Jay Morris is a man that's serious about what he's doing, right? You got people out there who use YouTube, right? They get on YouTube. They're not putting in any work in anything. They're not building anything, right? All they want to do is just take shots at people that's actually doing shit. That I'm getting tired of. You mean to tell me, yeah, there's gonna be pitfalls. Remember when Jay Morris was first starting the Tulsa Fund, the what was it called, the build up to that thing? Remember that?
Yeah.
Some people invested. They went all out trying to stop Black people. And I'm saying to myself, if somebody got $500 they want to invest, oh, Black people don't got no money. Who are you to tell Black folks what to invest in? Who are these people that's gonna get up and tell you what not to put your money into invest in? Oh, you're scamming. Why is this a scam? Do you know if your $500 is sitting in your bank account, if you got $500 in your bank account, do you know your bank loans that money and you get what half or 0.001% interest off of that? Your bank is gonna be, your money keeps is loaned out anyway. So why not invest? Why
Oh,
can't
real quick, Kyle, are we attacking other?
Huh?
Are we attacking other people?
Oh, wait, like what?
Same subject. Somebody in the chat room says same subjects every evening. No solutions, no plans. Just continuous attacks on other.
Well, who are we attacking? Who are we attacking? We're not attacking anybody. Saying so. We gave you the solutions, right? I got a social network called the Black African Influence. Join it once in a while. I want to see what we're doing. We got some big things coming up in the first of the year. And so the bottom line, join it and see what the hell we're doing. We're not attacking. This is a discussion. It's always when you don't like what's being said that it's always we're just attacking. No.
Kyle, let's go and do this. Let's take a call. Let's take some calls. A couple calls.
Go ahead. Bring them on.
Guys, if you want to call in, okay, email is search for Uhuru at gmail.com. We're going to take 2 calls. All right, again, search for Uhuru at gmail.com. By all means, call in.
Yeah, call in. Call in and state your case.
Again, call in and state your case.
We want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah. Call in and
everybody always like 2 days later always talking slick in the comment section for the next week and whatnot. And I'm like, where was you at when you had a chance to call in? It was in the comment section talking slick and everything. The bottom line is this. The bottom line, we have to just be more respectful. And I said it in the top of this thing. I said we need to be more respectful. And if I talk about something, I'm talking about the people who don't show any respect to anybody in the community. I don't think Jay Morris should be disrespected. You know what I'm saying? He's doing a lot. I'm inspired by his story and everything. He's inspiring a lot of people. And he's leading a revolution, And the bottom line, what he's saying is, why are you sitting back talking about why reparations now? Why is it that when people start talking about building bridges with Africa and we talk about building stuff like that, right away we got why are we gonna put the power right back in the hands of the white man? See, that's the whole thing. This is the elephant in the room. People do not like Yvette Carnell talks. Don't believe black people can do anything outside of the white man handing them something or doing something for them. It has to be some big plan. Where's the institutions that's going to facilitate this? We got the urban. We have many different institutions and everything that give out millions of dollars. Right, $13 million went to the city of Baltimore, but guess what? It was eaten up by these same black organizations who, if you ever did get reparations, will be filtered out to. Think about that. It's going to be filtered out to the same organization, Urban League and everything. Do you, Yvette Carnell, have any organization institutions with facilities set up, infrastructure set up to
Hey, Kyla, real quick, people want you to unpack. You said Candace Owens is a boss. Like, people want to.
Oh, I'm saying like this. If she's on Turning Point in USA, I'm not saying I agree with what I was saying, but if she could stroke a check for $200,000 for a debate, I have never seen anybody in the conscious community pull out that much money, to invite somebody onto a debate and pay them $200,000. Or how come we don't have that sort of money? We got money for everything else and whatnot, but how come we don't have institutions like that? They're getting their point across. Why? Because they have money. They have money, and they have money and interest in whatever. They built an organization, the right way. We don't have that. Does Yvette Carnell have? If she wants to state her case and whatnot, does she have $50,000 she could pull out and say, meet me on the stage? I got $50,000 if you can prove your point, whatever. No, does she even got $5,000? Of course not. So why are these people so important?
Jaron.
Is our friend again?
Jaron, go ahead.
Yes, sir. It's me again.
Oh,
How you doing?
No, not him again.
How you guys doing again tonight?
Oh,
all right, Jaron, go ahead, man. Go ahead and get straight to it, Jaron. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for having me on your channel, Kala.
Yeah.
My friend, where you from? You American?
Yeah, I was born here.
Okay, that's really what I wanted to know. Have you donated to Jay Morris's Tulsa Real Estate Fund?
Oh no, I haven't bought, but a lot of people in the BAOs invested in stuff like that. I'm involved with all kinds of business things, but like I said, what I do with it, if I can do it, I'll say, look, I tell people all the time, check it out and everything. For what I've heard, and I did my research and everything, and it sounds like on up. Because let me tell you something, I was involved in a thing called the Comedic Pipeline, and we had a thing called spiral funding. This was like around 7 or 8 years ago. And we was doing the same thing. I raised a lot of money, a few $100,000, right? And we had to say it didn't work out. It didn't work out, right? This, that, the other thing, because beyond my control and everything. But the thing is, I knew the core concept of what he was trying to do. It's called spiral funding, not remember spiral, but crowdfunding, right? Now, at the time, you could not do crowdfunding for investments. Now, I guess there's a change in the law where you could do that for real estate. And Jay Morrison is taking advantage of that loophole, which he can crowdfund as a block and own real estate. That's dynamite. So
it's almost like you know what a susu is?
I agree with the susu.
I know the
Jamaica.
So it's a susu for Black Americans.
Yeah,
not necessarily. No,
it's not.
Okay.
There's all kinds of people in Jay Morrison. I don't think they're all so-called Black Americans. I mean that you got to get out of that. If you Black in America, to me, you're a Black American. That's just me. Once you live here for a while, a couple of generations, a few years, and everything, and you're assimilated, associated with Black America or whatever like that, you're Black. I don't know how old are you, Jared?
I'm 28.
or you're young. When I was coming up, right, in the 80s and everything, I had friends that were Jamaicans, I had friends that were Panamanians, we're all black, All my boys,
Mhm.
Trinis, all of us were not. There was no so-called African. I mean, nobody cared about that shit. We were black. All the black kids were stuck together. You know what I'm saying? All the black kids.
But see,
I knew some of my friends were from the islands. Parents from the
mhm,
islands. We got island stuff on that. We were all black. You know what I'm saying? We
yeah,
didn't care about all that. Oh, you were American. They knew my ancestors from North Carolina, Harlem, and everything like that. And so the bottom line, it was a black culture. We knew about Martin Luther King. We knew about Garvey. We had the same heroes, everything together. This nonsense about separating black people from their Caribbean brothers, I'm going to do everything in my power and everything in my influence to crush that because it's nonsense. Now, you could say, I agree, that African Americans have been left behind because a lot of Caribbeans, and be honest with you, I was growing up. Let me say something. I was growing up. The African
mhm.
American kids, right? We were always a cool kid. We were always a cool kid. I look back at it now. Wait a minute. All the kids that were black kids that were on Honor Society, damn, they were all from the islands. It didn't dawn on me until about a year ago. I said, well, Ronald Dolphin, we used to clown this dude. Yo, he was, his father was Haitian. The Caribbean kids always went about education, you know? Even when the leaders in the NAACP where I grew up or not, all the freaking top people were from the islands, but we're all black though. It was the thing. Black people, African American, we're all working class, blue collar people. White kids, the Caribbean kids, they're all professional. We're all one family though. I don't mind that, I don't mind. They just took education. That culturally, the people in the islands took education a little more seriously than the so-called African Americans. We were
It's
all like,
it's the different. It's coming from different different upbringings, I guess.
they're
It's
coming from different upbringing, and also you got to understand something. This is the thing. It's a culture thing, right? In
yeah.
America, being stupid or not being too smart or too cocky or uppity was a survival
Mhm.
mechanism for black people in America. It was a survival mechanism. You don't want to show off that you're too smart. That could get you lynched. If you talk properly and everything around white people and everything, that could arouse suspicion. It was like that during slavery. It was like that after slavery. If you look like the white, like you was intelligent, whatever, you can get a
Mhm.
notice from the Ku Klux Klan. And that nigga think that anybody, black man that shows any strength and everything like that. That's why a lot of us went to North. We didn't go to North for opportunity. We wanted to get away from these people. And we went to up north and everything. We went to Harlem and places like that. The Caribbeans, like Madam Stephanie St. Clair, Madam the Queen of Policy in Harlem. She was from the Virgin Islands. You know what I'm saying? The Harlem elite, Prince Hall, was from Haiti. Prince Hall Masons, the African Masonic Order. He was from Haiti. We always had a community of unity in the Western Hemisphere based on our slave ancestry. But this idea we're gonna separate from each other and all this kind of nonsense and this ADOS stuff, American descendant, get the hell out of here with that shit.
But okay, you said, but what if it's like actually unity? You get what I'm saying? You said we always had unity, but now we're just actually just
No,
giving a
that
name to
that
that
was
unity
because
that you said we
that
always
was
had.
because before up into the 1980s and everything, the culture of Black America decided to change. White people tried to say the culture of Black America decided to change. Let me
Okay.
explain how. Right?
You said what year you said?
Let me let me explain. Let me explain.
Okay.
Up until the 1980s, right? If you look at the culture, that's why I take the music and the culture and everything serious. There's a reason why they make sure that these rappers and everything represent black culture, which they actually, let's be honest with you, they do, because that's what's influencing it. When I was coming up and everything, the black culture, who we had was a star. We had LL Cool J, we had Run DMC, we had Big Daddy Kane, we had all these rappers and everything like that. We had the Cosby Show, we had Different World. We had, in the late 80s, you know what the number one apparel in Black America was? You know the number one
You said in 19
apparel in the 1980s. You know what the number one apparel clothing line in Black America was?
called
It was
Kanai,
HBC.
Tommy
It was
Hilfiger.
HBCU. It was HBCUs. HBCU
Okay.
gears.
Hey, real quick, but Kyle, hey, let's get to the next person. Jaron, we appreciate you coming on, brother. Thank
Yeah,
you,
All
brother.
right,
bro.
thanks, man. Go ahead.
All right, bro.
All right, Mr. Hold on, my bad. Mr. G,
Something
go
wrong with
ahead,
that.
Mr. G.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Good,
What's
go
up?
ahead.
Yeah, man, I wanted to say something real quick, man. The only thing about this whole ADOS kind of thingy is just that it kind of makes black people feel a little stupid in a certain aspect. Um, when you look at how the conversation, wherever they're talking about and they're referring to other blacks, quote unquote, other blacks,
Right.
um, even if they're referring to somebody who was born here, he's their parents probably were born here too. Only their grandparents were born here. I mean, are immigrants. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
These people, let's say, we're talking about what's his name, Martin. What's the big guy? Martin with with the show.
TV show.
No, the guy he's on YouTube. He used to be on CNN.
Oh, Roland Martin.
Roland
Oh,
Martin. Roland
yeah,
Roland
Martin,
yeah,
Martin.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
roly poly,
Roland
roly
Martin. Boule
yeah,
Roland Martin.
yeah. Roly poly, right? This guy, his great grandparents, one of his great grandparents was born in Haiti, right? And he's not even an immigrant. When you
Right.
keep referring to people, black people that look like you as immigrants,
Right.
when they were born here in the United States, but
Right.
you will never refer to somebody like Trump, whose parents are actual immigrants.
Right.
You'll never ever refer to them as immigrants, but you can see that same black person that look like you as an immigrant, even though
But
they were born here. You are by default, you are so
Oh,
uh,
Mr. G.
yeah, well, he's absolutely right. And the whole idea is, and this is a
Hey,
global
Kyle,
problem.
if you could take like 2 minutes to address it, because I want to get Janine is on. I want to
Okay.
get her question. So go ahead, respond.
Is that my ADL sister?
I probably, but
Oh Lord. Oh no. Oh boy.
but this two
All right.
minutes to respond to what
All
Mr.
right.
G was saying, so we
Let
can
me
move
say
on.
let me say something. Anyway, he was absolutely 100% right. The problem is black people, and I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it's going to take, Dinus. Why do black people, why do we don't like ourselves? You know, why is it that we don't like ourselves? We always want to doubt. We don't love ourselves the way other people. That's the advantage other races have over us, is that black people fundamentally don't like ourselves. You know, that's
Mhm.
why you walking on red eyes. You could say 1 minute you could be like, yeah, you know, that's why I am the way I am, right? Because I come out with people, right, and I say what I say, and I don't hold back, right? Because I know eventually people, oh, you're black, people are not gonna like you. They're gonna try to ruffle you anyway. So they might as well just go ahead and say it. Because what happens is, if you're trying to be too nice or try to appease people, right? The moment you say something you don't like, it when I should have known Colin was a friggin' coon. I should have known, but you know what I'm saying. You know, so they're gonna say, you know, I should have known that nigga was no good, blah blah. I said, damn, you've been following me for like 2 years. And now, you know, you disagree with one thing, you ready to freaking throw me off the bus. It's because fundamentally, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a deep love and hate. You know, maybe something I don't really understand, but we're so hard on our own kind. You know, we look at us. The ADOS movement is not directed at Mexicans. The ADOS movement is not directed at Russian illegal immigrants, which is many of them here. The ADOS movement is not directed at the Mexicans or whoever else and everything. The ADOS is not even mad at the right wing that's insurgency that's going on here. The only thing the ADOS movement is trying to talk about is the supposed reparations check that which you're never going to get, and the fact that somebody that says some slick stuff. And I'm gonna say something, right? I know black immigrants be talking slick stuff on the line. You know, it boils my blood too. I remember watching one video. I'm going to point with this times, right? There was this girl from the islands, right? I think she was from the islands. She was a really stuffy, elite thing, and she was talking all this stuff about black people in America. She goes, "You
Mhm.
guys, this is before Trump, right?" And I was saying to myself, I wonder how she feels
Hey,
now.
Kyle, let's go ahead and take the next person.
Okay, go ahead,
Yeah,
sister.
once you get started, you just
Oh yeah, I know. I just keep
snowball.
going.
All right, go ahead, Miss Smith. Go ahead,
Yes, I'm Janine.
Janine.
So, so I hear what you're saying, Kala, but what I don't understand with you is how you don't see ADOS as important for Black Americans. You kind of make it sound like Black Americans don't have a plight in this country that needs to be, you know, uh, compensated for. And for you to say that African Americans, I mean, ADOS isn't gearing it towards immigration, gearing it towards, the people who are, causing a lot of the problems here for Black Americans is completely incorrect. If you follow Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell, you can totally see that they mention, Mexican immigration being a problem. Uh, they're not attacking only Africans, and they're not attacking Africans in the sense that they're saying Africans are our enemy because, they're taking jobs for us and things like that. It's to say that there's an agenda behind why Africans might get movie roles. There's an agenda behind how they try to say these top tier, like so many successful Black people in America exist. It's a lot of the people that they're showing us are not ADOS. They're giving this illusion that Black Americans are wealthy, and for you to put it across like sovereignty is going to solve the issue for the whole of the Black community is a bit of a stretch, because one of the biggest things that us as a whole lack in this country is money and resources to even get over to Africa. Like, how are half the people that live in Black communities, even on a middle class income, supposed to get over to Africa? It's not that easy. There are people who can do it.
Janine, you said a whole lot, man. Yeah, I'm gonna lose my train of thought. You gotta let me answer somewhere.
Okay.
Let me respond to.
All right, Carla, we got. Listen, we got about 7 more. We got about 7 more minutes. So, Carla, let's.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let me
get straight to it.
Okay. Let me respond to your point. Now, when we talk about African immigrants, when you make that the sole purpose, I got a problem with that, And then the whole
idea. But
that's
that's not the sole purpose. That's what I'm trying to say.
Hold on, you gotta let me finish.
But how is it the sole purpose? Because
let me finish what I'm gonna say. Let me finish what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I say you. I said Yvette. So they talk about African immigrants. They talk
that's
about
not their sole purpose.
Hold up. Tone Talk said that Lupita was a different race. She shouldn't be playing African American role. She's a different race. He said that. The guy's crazy. He said she was a different race. She shouldn't play. She shouldn't play. And then Tariq was like, "Oh well. Look at Nigerians on what Lupita playing the Igbo. All this shenanigans never existed before the internet. Black people were black people. That's what I want to get back to. Black people are black people. Now hold up.
But we can't do that right now, though.
Now your point is this. Now, if you're talking about social power, right, cultural power. Now, do you believe that Black America is in a cultural decline? Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
All right. Now, whose fault is that? Is it the African immigrants' fault, or is the fact that we just like tomfoolery, buffoonery, and we elevate clowns and foolishness and whatnot in Black America?
We do, but we also understand all of that is conditioning. Is it
buffoons, right? Africans.
We didn't just up and decide to be buffoons. It's conditioning.
Who's doing it?
It's conditioning. It's conditioning. How is it not conditioning? How is it not conditioning?
Because Negroes decide, right? And look, let me give you an example.
The same thing with the whole LGBTQ thing. We're accepting European culture because we live here. That's pretty much what it is, right? Is it not that? Are we not accepting?
ADOS want to be embellishing. You guys are talking about you're Americans. If you say that, we say okay.
We're just saying we're here. We're people who live here. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Pan-African. I'm a Pan-Africanist too. I'm like Dynas. Like, I'm for both. I don't see the issue of. How are you for both? I don't understand how you're so pessimistic about it. You make it sound like.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me set this straight. I believe that there is a debt owed to Black society for the unpaid labor that was used to build this country. That's it. That's all. Okay,
And hold
okay.
up,
I'm the
let me
same
hey,
way.
hold up,
I'm the
hold up,
same
hold up,
way, and I
Janine,
don't
As
hold
see.
up.
far
I
as,
don't
Janine,
see.
as far as me being a Captain Black America and
I'm not Captain Black, Miss Black
check
America.
this out. Now,
I'm
hold,
just saying it is.
here's my problem. Here's my problem. Negroes want to use that as a stalling tactic to stay here for the next 5,000 years, waiting on that
That
check.
is not.
You know,
That is
that's
not
exactly
true.
what it is. You know,
No, it is
that is the
not.
supposedly,
end game. Waiting on
Look,
that
supposedly,
check for 5,000
it
years.
doesn't matter what everyone's end game is. At the
Yo,
end of the day,
I
it's
would like to.
about
Hey, Janine,
African
hold up.
Americans are owed for what they
Oh, I
went
know
through.
that. I
That
agree.
is
Let's say I agree.
so. Then why do you spend so much time
Hold up.
fighting
I'm
that
just saying.
argument?
Hold up.
You spend so much
Hold up.
time fighting the argument.
Hold on. Let me say something. I agree with that, right? But what I'm saying is, I don't think Negroes should get an individual check. Dinus wants his
no,
check,
no, I
right?
want my check. No, no, I
What?
want my
Dinus
check.
wants his check.
No,
Hold
exactly. I don't understand how
on.
you do not want people to get a
I
check.
want my
That
What
check.
do
amount
you
of
What
money
do
in
you
Negroes
want?
is dangerous. You know, I would not want to see that. You know, because all you're gonna do is
Why?
make the car dealerships rich. You know, you ain't gonna spend it.
No. See,
You know,
that's
Well,
that
let's do
you know.
that.
pessimism that you
You know
do.
what I'm
That's
saying? No,
pessimism. That's
that money should be
Hold on,
pessimism.
hold
going
on,
for.
hold on.
You think that money should go for infrastructure?
Carla,
Infrastructure.
hold on,
Infrastructure
Carla.
will pay for itself.
Hold on, Carla. If we get our checks and someone wants to go to the Mercedes dealership, let them go to the Mercedes
Thank
dealership.
you.
No,
Exactly. That's their
My
business.
check.
But what I like, but what you're not understanding is what I like about Antonio and Yvette, even though I don't agree with everything they say,
Yeah, you
what
do.
they do, no, I don't. What I do understand though is that they are teaching people to re-educate the way they think. And the more people re-educate the way they think, the more responsible they will be when they do get a check. You're not giving black people any kind of credit.
Here we
You're
go.
not giving them no kind of credit.
Black Betty,
They
Oh
no,
yeah, I
no.
went to go. I felt guilty. That's That's when I used to. Check this
But
out. That's before. Hold on, check
Dinah,
this out.
she's not saying
Check this
that
out.
to
Check this
make
out.
it sound.
Before.
She's not saying that to say that we don't
Check
have
this out.
money. She's saying that to say you guys act like black people because a couple black people are rich.
But
That
why did
black
you send
people can go out
500,000? You
here
sent
and be
500,000 super chat.
do for selfers are gonna go out and solve all of that. Prove that we can just get up
Yeah,
here
but how
and
did
pull
she?
ourselves
Why
up
did
by
she
our
accept
bootstraps.
500,000
But
super chat?
we're just gonna pretend like we didn't do that already. In
But
the
why? But
19
why
in
did
the
she
let me
accept
finish,
500,000 super chat?
let me
The black people
finish.
ain't got no money.
Kyla, let me finish. In the 1900s, black communities did they not pull themselves up by their bootstraps and
Right.
build all kind of
Right.
black
And look what
towns,
happened
cities?
to it.
What exactly? What happened
Well,
to
what
them?
happened to it? You
They
know.
got destroyed. Why did
No
they get destroyed?
modernization. No, what it is?
No,
Hold on. Let me.
no.
I'm gonna give you. Hold. I'm gonna give you.
How is it modernization?
I'm gonna tell you why. Right.
A black man was accused of rape. They
Let me
burned the
explain.
whole town down. In every town.
Hold on.
In
You know
every
something?
town.
Hold on. You know how they
In
was able to do
every
that?
town.
Hold on. Listen to something. You'll learn something here, Janine. You know how they was able to do that? Before, when black people built those towns, they were isolated. But guess what happened in the turn of the 20th century? Roads and highways were built. Cars were invented, right? Longer, bigger buggies were built. White people had mobility and range. When Wilmington
That
was
is
burned
not
down,
what destroyed those
hold
towns. It was jealousy. It was jealousy. They were like,
I
"Oh,
know, I
black people were able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. We
hold
weren't
on. Let me say
expecting
something.
that. They burnt it
Yeah,
down." So you can't make it seem like
But how
this
you
is
gonna defend
the
what you can't?
position that we're
How you gonna
in. The
build something you can't
position
defend
that
it?
we're in
Hold up.
happened by design.
But how you gonna build something you can't
Black people.
defend?
What was
They
that?
could do it again. What's stopping them?
Not, you know what's stopping them? You're not doing it again. You're not doing it again because we're stuck in what?
It's like this.
Conditioning
You
of
know why? Because
ignorance.
we had
You're in
70 years of
ignorance right
integration.
now. We're in
Hold up. You had
ignorance
70
right
years
now.
of integration. Let me ask you a question. Janine, right? Now, are you one of those you like Black Girls Rock?
No, I
You don't
don't.
like Black Girls Magic and all that?
No, I don't. I don't care about all that stuff. I'm a practical realist. What I'm trying to get you to see is you're trying to eliminate you're trying to act like we were not conditioned to be where we are at. And why Black people think the way they do, why they don't have anything.
Yeah, but
We don't have, we do not
but
have the wealth that is owed to us by conditioning. Yvette Carnell
check this
said
out.
we don't have no money does
Check this
not
out.
mean
Janine,
that we don't. Come on
you know
now.
real power. How do you get real power? How do you get real power?
You take it. You
All right,
take it.
now, okay. If you're gonna take power, right? Why do you need to talk about lobbying political parties to it? Just go there and take it. Just go bum the Russian Federal Reserve.
You can't. That's not logical. That's not logical.
I mean,
and that you're
do you have
saying
an
that
army?
to be.
Are you
You're
going to surround
saying
the
that
Federal Reserve? Are you going to
you
go
don't
to
have
Fort
to do
Knox
all that.
and dig up the gold in Fort Knox?
There's no need to do all that. Now, see, we could go. We could. Whoa. We could jump on over to the because you're Pan Africanist, right? So then that means you believe in all the spiritual side of everything, right? So
I'm a realist.
So
I believe in the.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
get into all the spirituality stuff.
my view is that if Black Americans want to protect themselves, the only way they can do it is through their spiritual systems. That's what's going to protect you. It does stop bullets. Have you been to Africa? See, how have you been to Africa and you don't know these things?
The bottom line
how have you been to Africa and you don't know these things? Africans can stop bullets. Africans have protection.
If the white man
Africans have protection. Africans have protection.
They have protection. They got some juju stuff.
Absolutely.
And that
African spiritual systems are the most powerful systems in the world. They work. It's the fact that you don't use them. You don't know. Have you used it? Have you used it? You have not used it.
Using it?
They're not, and you can tell they're not. That's why their governments are the way they are. They're What systems are the government leaders sworn under? Are they under what?
So in other words, basically,
they're under Christianity and Muslim, right? They don't swear under their traditions. They don't swear under their traditions.
What you're saying is your spirituality is going to bring you reparations.
Our spirituality will protect us and get it. And once we get it, once we get our yes, it can bring you. Yes, it can bring. It can bring us. Yes.
Boom shakalaka.
Hey, whatever I gotta do, it can do it. That's all I know. And I know even the point is
look, Janine, when you do that, you say boom shakalaka like 10 times to get your reparations, call me. And I'll say,
but that's not how the system works. That's your version of it. That's not how the system works. That's your version of it. That's not how this. That's not how. I thought you were a Pan-Africanist, Kala. How do you not know this? How do you not know this system?
You're gonna give our reparations check. Give me some, give me some of that,
You're gonna get it because you're a descendant of slaves. So your pessimism is not.
I want my money. If you get it, I want my money.
Encouraged.
So I don't have to do nothing then, right? I'll just get it, right?
Of course, obviously. That's why people. That's why your comments are being challenged because you're fighting to. If it's successful, you get to eat your words. When it's successful, you get to eat your words.
I would love to have like $8,000.
I can't
eat my words.
That's great. Why do you have to make it so low? Who says it's going to be $8,000? Oh my God! Oh my goodness!
Hold on, it's almost 11:30. Like it's bedtime. Like we got started late because of the whole power.
Is there anybody else coming on?
No. We're done. So what we'll do, Janine, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for coming on, Janine.
Thank you, Janine.
Thank you.
Debate, when Kala's on next Wednesday, you are more than welcome.
We'll continue later. Okay, bye.
I'm about to go to bed. All right.
Good night.
All right. So, Kala, go ahead and shout out to BAIO. Go ahead and shout out to BAIO.
The Black African Infrastructure Organization. We've been through a lot and stuff like that, but we're still here, going strong. There's things coming up. Like I said, what I like to do is don't put nothing out there until it's sure, but things are working. And I'm pretty, there's a lot of stuff going on the continent. We got a lot of people on the continent joining the BAO. And things are going and everything. It's a social network, right? The main thing is, this is, like I said, socialization, us getting together, bonding, talking, fighting with each other, arguing, so as long as we're together and with something discussed and everything, that's the main thing. Why? Because there's people that want this all to go away. There's people that want to wrap themselves in the American flag, right? The last thing they got is a so-called holdout for reparations. You know, they had the black president, they had a black Congress, they got a record number of black elected officials in America, and still all hell's breaking loose, right? And they have no credibility. The culture is controlled by the gangster rappers and the thugs and everything like that. So the last thing, so the bottom line is America has lost credibility as far as like telling us what to do and everything. The last holdout they have is our so-called demand for, which is legitimate. I agree with, we owe reparations, but they want to use that as an excuse to further engage America and turn our backs on Africa. That's why they're trying to do everything in their power to turn us against Africans. To take one thing one African say and say, look what they think about us. What do they think about us? Don't fall for it.
Yeah.
Don't
So,
fall for it.
Colin, real quick, real close. Somebody in the chat room said, "Yeah, Don, Africans don't like us because I was at Georgia State and I overheard an African call her employer in a kata."
Yeah. You know, the bottom line is, look, they're African. Look, the bottom line is this. Look, man, you know, if I'm sure when I go to Nigeria, I'm going to get called Nakata and everything, but I'd rather be called Nakata than
But I've never even heard the word one time.
I would check this out. If I did, I would be like, yeah, okay, I'm Nakata. I'm home. You know, I'll be in Nakata. You know, the bottom line, as long as I'm on the continent of my ancestors and whatnot, I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care about that. You know, bottom line, as long as I'm in a continent with black men, because I know ultimately, Nigerians or African, we're black men. We're the same race. You know, that's the whole thing. Key, you understand? We're the same race. Race is real. Race is it ain't no figment of nobody's imagination. It's real. We're all the same race, whether it's Zambian, we're South African, we're Nigerian, we're Haitian, we're African American, whatever. We're all the same race. And until we realize that and understand that we as men got to take back what's out, black men have to take back what's ours, it's our motherland, you know? Kick out the Chinese, the whites, everybody else and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Throw them out into the damn ocean and whatnot. Let us come home and start building and everything. Stop the cooning and the buffooning and everything, you know? And that's it. I think Jay Morrison is on the right track. Why? I could do business with somebody like him because he gets it, you know? This movement is not going anywhere. As more and more start penetrating the continent and stuff like that, we're going to draw the likes of Jay Morrison or the people like that to our continent. When we start drawing the major black people from America that got the resources and the money and everything, you're going to see a revolution. You know, it's going to be irreversible. It's going to be like a black plague from America descending on the continent. And once that happens and whatnot,
Don't say the black plague. I mean,
yeah, you never heard of Amalia? Amalia, the black plague from America. I'll tell you about. Let me give you a brief story. I know you got.
No, we gotta go, man. We gotta go.
All right, well, let me say this brief thing. Amalia. Amalia was a belief in South Africa during the Garvey era that a whole big plague of black people from America was going to come to South Africa, storm South Africa with ships and planes, and drive the whites out in an all-out race war. It was called the First Uhuru. Amalia, you know, that was in the 1920s, you know, in the Transkei and throughout the Cape area of South Africa, you know. And the bottom line is, you know, look, the bottom line is this: if we descend on the African continent and whatnot, we could. When I say descend on, it ain't gonna be talk about war and everything. We're gonna be building STEM. We're gonna be building infrastructure, science, investment, education. That's what we're going to descend on the African continent. That's what we're talking about.
I gotta go to bed, bro. I know you.
All right, Dan. We are back, man. Thanks for having me, Dan. Check out the Black African Infrastructure Organization, Dan. You put the link in the chat room.
I did.
And the bottom line is, check us out. The social network is nothing to join. You know, be among like-minded people, make some friends in there and everything. Join your state chapter and everything like that. And I'll see you around. That's a place you can get a hold of College Genesis.
Yes, sir. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go to search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty, search for Uhuru. Peace.
Peace.